Good day, viewers. My name is Deborah Ali. I'm a third-year law student of the University of Jos and an undergraduate intern at HARLEM Solicitors. Today, I'll be delivering a lecture on the topic Colocation and Infrastructure Sharing. For better understanding of this lecture, I'll begin with a brief overview of telecommunications and the type of telecommunications company. Then I'll move further to discuss the concept of colocation and infrastructure sharing and the legal framework of colocation and infrastructure sharing. When you hear the word telecommunications, a wide range of things must come to mind, like telephones, mobile networks, and maybe even broadcasting. Generally, telecommunications are the means of transmission of information electronically over distances. In Nigeria, the principal legislation regulating the telecommunications industry is the Nigerian Communications Act of 2003, hereinafter referred to as the NCA 2003. The NCA 2003 established the Nigerian Communications Commission, hereinafter referred to as the NCC, as an independent regulatory authority over the telecommunications sector in Nigeria. We have four types of telecommunications company. First, we have the ISPs, the internet service providers, for example, your Smile, your Spectranet. Secondly, we have the PTOs, the private telecoms operator, like Nitel. I'm sure you've heard of Nitel before. Thirdly, we have telcos. These are the normal telecommunications companies that operate mobile network services like your Glo, your MTN, your 9Mobile, your Airtel. And lastly, we have the infracos, the infrastructure provider companies. They provide infrastructure for telecommunications companies. For example, in Nigeria, we have IHS Nigeria Limited and we have ATC American Towers. For the purpose of this lecture, we'll be focusing mainly on the last two, that's the telcos and the infracos. Now, one of the most important elements of telecommunications is the base transceiver station, BTS for short. The BTS is an equipment stationed in a particular place which enables the transfer and reception of information. Mainly, these infracos provide a structure of a BTS master tower for telecommunications company. For example, when you have IHS Nigeria Limited building a tower, this is the structure of a tower, a telecommunications master tower, and you have IHS Nigeria Limited owning this tower, and MTN or Glo company can meet IHS Nigeria Limited to request for a space on that tower to mount its equipment and provide its services in that area. Now, when you have MTN here, and you have Glo here, and you have 9Mobile here, all having a space on this tower, this is called colocation. So these three telcos have entered into a colocation agreement and are tenants to IHS Nigeria Limited. They are obligated to pay rentals in dollars to IHS Nigeria Limited. Now, this is called the third-party service. So in this case, IHS Nigeria Limited is the third party providing a structure for other telecommunications companies. We also have something called the operator-to-operator agreement. In that case, Airtel is the owner of this mast and is allowing MTN, Glo, and 9Mobile collocate on its mast. That is what we call the operator-to-operator agreement. Moving further, the principal legislation regulating colocation and infrastructure sharing in Nigeria is the NCC's guidelines on colocation and infrastructure sharing. These guidelines create a framework for the negotiation of colocation and infrastructure sharing agreements. Under paragraph 18 of the NCC's guidelines on colocation and infrastructure sharing, colocation is defined as the placement of transmission equipment by an interconnection demanding operator in the premises of an interconnection providing operator for the purpose of interconnecting to that operator's network. Seems difficult, right? In simple terms, paragraph 15 of the NCC's guidelines on technical specifications for the installation of telecommunications masts and towers 2009, hereinafter referred to as the 2009 guidelines, defines colocation as the use of a single telecommunications mast or tower by more than one operator. Now, under the NCC's guidelines on colocation and infrastructure sharing, we have three classes of colocation agreements. First, we have the physical colocation, the virtual colocation, and the remote colocation. Where an operator desires to interconnect with another operator, it is obligated to choose which of the colocation methods will be suitable for its operation. Now, if an operator has chosen to use the physical colocation and it is not deemed feasible, the interconnection providing operator must offer such a collocator virtual colocation. Now, when virtual colocation is also not deemed feasible, the interconnection providing operator must offer remote colocation. It is to be noted that a request for remote colocation cannot be rejected on any grounds. Moving further, the NCC's guidelines on colocation and infrastructure sharing in paragraph 18 also defines infrastructure sharing as the joint use of network facilities, specifying relevant technical and commercial conditions. Now, we have two classes of infrastructure sharing. We have the active infrastructure sharing and the passive infrastructure sharing. The active infrastructure sharing involves the use of electronic elements by one or more operators of telecommunications network infrastructure. For example, the remote access switches, the broadband remote access servers, and the lit fiber. Now, also, we have the passive infrastructure sharing. This involves the use of all civil engineering and non-electronic elements of telecommunications network infrastructure, such as your poles, masts, ducts, fiber, optic power supply, and base stations. Under guidelines 4 and 5 of the NCC's guidelines on colocation and infrastructure sharing, it provides for two types of sharing: facilities that are amenable to sharing and facilities that are not amenable to sharing. This means facilities that can be shared and facilities that cannot be shared. Under the facilities that can be shared, we have the poles, the masts, the rights of way, the space between buildings, the premises, the tower and mast structures, etc. Now, under the facilities that cannot be shared, we have the complete network structure, radio network controllers, switching centers, and base stations. One of the major advantages of infrastructure sharing is that it reduces the cost of network deployment by minimizing the duplication of telecommunications infrastructure. Another advantage is that it shifts the focus of the telecommunications operator from network deployment to service innovation, thereby improving the quality of service. Another advantage it has is that it reduces the barrier of market entry, thereby increasing market competition. Other advantages of infrastructure sharing include the reduced environmental impact of telecommunications infrastructure, the reduced investment requirements, and also the effective utilization of scarce resources such as rights of way. At this point, I would like to add that the National Environmental Standards and Regulatory Enforcement Agency, NESRIA, in its 2011 regulations, specifically in Regulations 3 sub 2F, encourages colocation and infrastructure sharing. Also, the 2009 guidelines, specifically in Guideline 9 sub 7A, provides that in the design of or installation of a telecommunication mast or tower in excess of 25 meters, it must be designed in such a way that it can accommodate 2 or more telecommunications operators using that same mast. Now, in the course of this lecture, we've been able to look at telecommunications, the type of telecommunications company. We've also discussed the concept of colocation and infrastructure sharing and the legal framework of colocation and infrastructure sharing. For more information and for better understanding on telecommunications law, please visit our website at www.harlemsolicitors.com and our social media handles at HARLEM Solicitors. Thank you for your time.